6 months after the murder of Shelly Boggio, James Dailey is arrested far away in Monterey, California.
James Dailey says that after leaving Florida, he had first gone to Arizona, where he met a guy who offered him a job in California.
He was looking for somebody to go to California with him to help him remodel this restaurant. And I'd done a lot of cabinet work and stuff, so I said, hey, I'm looking for a job. And he said, well, you willing to go to California? And I said, heck yeah.
But detectives in Florida track him down in California, some 2,800 miles away.
When you were first arrested and you felt those cuffs binding your wrists, what was that like?
I just said, man, you guys got the wrong guy.
Can you see how it seems suspicious that so shortly after the murder, first you go to Miami and then you go clear across the country to California?
Yeah, but if I was gonna hide, don't you think I'd use a different name? I'm not hiding from anybody. I didn't know I was supposed to be hiding anybody.
They had to extradite him back to Florida.
James Dailey and Jack Pearcy, who'd been arrested months earlier, are now both locked up in the Pinellas County Jail to await trial.
In the end, Jack Pearcy fails to convince prosecutors that he's an innocent bystander and that James Dailey is the sole killer of Shelly Boggio.
They are both indicted. Pearcy is tried first.
Jack Pearcy went to trial in November of 1986, right before Thanksgiving.
Our defense of Mr. Pearcy was the other guy did it. Pearcy was along for the ride and Dailey was the guy that did everything.
But that defense strategy does not work, and Pearcy is convicted. The jury convicts Pearcy quickly, but then takes mercy on him, recommending life in prison instead of a death sentence. The following summer, it's James Dailey's turn to stand trial.
He didn't have a history of violence against women. He didn't have a motive. There was no eyewitnesses placing him at the scene. There was just no evidence.
The state's theory was that Jack, Jim Dailey, and Shelly left, and that they drove around, then they went to the waterside.
And that was when they excuse me. It was at that point where evidently, I guess they felt they had enough of Shelly, and they stabbed her. She was put underwater, she was drowned, dead.
The jury never heard James Dailey's explanation for having those wet pants, that he'd been playing Frisbee and chased the disc into the water.
James Dailey never took the witness stand. He sat there looking like a lawyer for the entire week and said nothing. No emotion, no outburst of, I didn't do that.
I don't know. My attorney at the trial said that he didn't want me to testify because he couldn't believe that we played Frisbee.
Your attorney advised you not to testify?
Yeah. I wanted to testify. I wanted to get up and tell what really happened.
I think he should have taken the stand. I would have loved to hear what he had to say.
As prosecutors wrap up their case, among their last witnesses are a trio of jailhouse informants. Now, we've all seen this movie before, right? Dramatic testimony from a jailhouse witness claiming he heard a confession.
Jailhouse snitches, they've been used since the beginning of time. Detectives can place a defendant in the same jail cell with a snitch. It's legal, it's fine. They become friends, and people really do talk.
In Dailey's case, 2 snitches testify he made incriminating statements, but then the third inmate takes the stand, and he's a showstopper. His name is Paul Skalnick, and James Dailey's lawyers say his testimony sealed Dailey's fate.
Skalnick testifies that Dailey confessed to him in jail. He says that Dailey told him he stabbed Shelly, that she was staring up at him, and she was screaming, and she would not die.
He stabbed her, he continued to stab her, she wouldn't die. was I think, the quote.
What was your reaction when you heard Skolnick on the stand testifying against you?
Well, other than disbelief, other than trying to tell my attorney that never happened, it was just sickening.
You never confessed to him, you say?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That was actually the only information that we ever got that supposedly came from James Dailey, because he never took the witness stand. So everything, if we were to believe what the snitches were saying, that was the only way we could hear James Dailey's voice. So it was very interesting listening to the snitches.
Powerful stuff, if it's believed, and the jury obviously decided to believe.
James Dailey is convicted, and he's sentenced to die in the electric chair.
You could hear kind of cheering in the back. I don't know how anybody could cheer at a death sentence.
Did you murder Shelly Boggio?
No, I did not. I had nothing to do with her death whatsoever. Have I felt guilt from it? Absolutely.
Why would you feel guilty if you didn't do anything?
I wished I could have done something to stop it. I didn't know Pearcy's record. I thought he was taking her home.
James Dailey's word against Paul Skolnick. Who to believe?
I wouldn't believe him as far as I could throw him.
Turns out there was something the jury didn't know about that jailhouse snitch, Paul Skolnick.
I'm pretty familiar with Paul Skolnick. I asked him how many times he'd actually listed as a witness by the state, and he told me 28 times.
We thought it would help to know more about Skolnick, maybe even talk to him. I just left the prison here, the Florida State Prison, interviewing Jim Dailey. He said the reason he's on death row is because you lied.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.